All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. We're breaking down a really fascinating piece of tech today, starting right from the absolute basics. We're looking at Livepeer, the open network for AI video. Now, if you've been hearing all this buzz about decentralized infrastructure, but honestly felt completely lost in the jargon, you're definitely in the right place. We're going to keep this super simple, zero crypto knowledge required, and just focus on how this network is literally powering the next generation of the internet. To keep things moving smoothly, here is our game plan for today. We're looking at the AI video problem, the Livepeer solution, roles in the network, LPT, the work permit, proof of real demand, and finally, real physical global infrastructure.
Kicking things off with Chapter 1, the AI video problem, and why current tech just can't keep up.
Did you know roughly 80% of all internet bandwidth is already eaten up by video? It's huge. It absolutely dominates internet traffic. But here's the catch. The new wave of real-time AI applications needs continuous instant processing for every single frame. We're talking about entirely generative AI worlds rendered on the fly, real-time video analysis, and AI avatars that react to you instantly. It's wild. Running AI on video is incredibly compute-intensive. It requires something called continuous GPU inference. Basically, that just means the AI has to think about and process every single frame the exact millisecond it arrives. There's absolutely zero room for delay. The problem is, traditional video processing in all this new real-time AI demand is heavily relying on expensive, centralized cloud services run by a few massive big tech monopolies. And you know what? Those huge servers are built for batch processing. They're designed to take a big chunk of data, chew on it for a while, and spit it out later. They are simply not built for continuous low-latency AI demands. Because of that, it is insanely expensive for independent creators trying to build the future. Moving right into Chapter 2, the Livepeer solution. Let's look at this global shared economy. So, if the current big tech setup is way too expensive and honestly just the wrong tool for the job, what do we do? Well, instead of relying on a handful of massive corporate server farms, Livepeer takes a completely different approach. It coordinates independent computer graphics cards, or GPUs, from all over the world, stitching them together into one giant open network. Just imagine all the incredibly powerful computers sitting idle in people's homes and data centers right now. Livepeer is basically the coordinator. It takes developers who need AI video processing and matches them up with independent operators who actually have the spare hardware to do the job. And here's why that's a total game changer. By using this shared global infrastructure, processing video becomes anywhere from 60 to 85% cheaper than traditional centralized cloud alternatives like AWS. Yeah, 60 to 85%. Because the network is run by the community and anyone with the right hardware can join in, it completely bypasses those massive big tech markups. This huge cost advantage is exactly why developers are flocking to Livepeer. It actually makes building cutting-edge AI video apps financially viable. All right, Chapter 3, roles in the network. Let's talk about who actually makes this whole thing work. Since this network isn't owned by some giant tech CEO, it relies on different everyday people playing specific roles to keep everything running perfectly. To make it simple, think of orchestrators as independent shop owners. They are the ones providing the actual tools and computer power, the physical GPUs doing the heavy lifting for AI image generation and video analysis. But hey, not everyone has the time or tech skills to run a server farm 24/7, right? That is where delegators come in. Delegators are everyday community backers who put up a sort of security deposit to support the best, most reliable shop owners. Which brings us to Chapter 4, LPT, the work permit. Let's see how someone actually earns the right to work. In a decentralized setup, you have to build trust without having a boss looking over everyone's shoulder. So, to take on jobs and earn fees, those shop owners need the Livepeer token, or LPT. Think of this simply as a reputation badge, or a digital work permit. The more of these permits you have, the more paid work the network routes to your shop. It is a built-in security mechanism. If an orchestrator wants to process video and actually get paid, they have to hold this permit to prove they have some serious skin in the game. It basically guarantees that the people handling the internet's video are heavily incentivized to do a stellar job. And honestly, the absolute genius of this system is how it rewards everyone for participating. When those delegators we talked about use their work permits as a security deposit to back a rock-solid shop owner, they get a cut of the fees that shop earns. So developers pay fees to process their video, those fees go to the orchestrator doing the hard work, and a slice of that goes right back to the delegators who backed them. It's this brilliant shared economy where everyone wins for keeping the network secure and efficient. Now for Chapter 5, Proof of Real Demand. Is anyone actually using this thing? It is super easy to pitch a cool idea, but seeing it work in the real world is a whole different story. Get this, in the first quarter of 2026, the Livepeer network processed a mind-blowing 134.4 million minutes of video. That is a 71.9% jump just from the previous quarter. This is not some theoretical ghost town. It is a highly active living network where real users are demanding massive processing power every single day. And what's even crazier? AI inference isn't just a fun side project anymore. It currently makes up roughly 60% of all the fees generated on the protocol. Livepeer started out mostly transcoding traditional video, but with this absolute explosion in generative AI, the network has completely transformed. It is now heavily driven by real-time AI workloads, proving for sure that this open infrastructure is spot on for the future of media. Finally, Chapter 6, Real Physical Global Infrastructure. So what's the big takeaway here? We've covered a lot of concepts today, but it all boils down to something incredibly tangible. Beyond all the digital mechanics, Livepeer is a decentralized physical infrastructure network, often called DePIN. It's providing real, massive computing utility to developers globally, completely stepping around the big tech monopolies. We're talking about actual physical graphics cards humming away in living rooms and data centers around the world, all stitched together into a massive supercomputer for the next generation of AI video tools. So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. As our digital world demands more real-time processing than ever before, who do you actually want powering the future of the internet? Do we want a world where a tiny handful of megacorporations control all the compute power for AI, dictating whatever prices and rules they want? Or do we want an open, shared economy where independent shop owners and community backers build the infrastructure together? The tech to choose that open future is literally already here, and it's processing millions of minutes of video right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope you walk away today with a rock-solid grasp of Livepeer.